it's a little baby escalator. This vodka sauce, I would give it a 9.6. It looks like I ordered it right. There's meat, there's cheese. Hey, what's up, Legion? My name is Sal, and this is another Expedition Log. This episode is a collaboration with the legendary Dead Mall series, and I'd like to thank Dan Bell for giving me his blessing to use footage he shot back in 2015 to bring this entire piece together. Thanks, Dan. I'll get you dinner or something next time we shoot a podcast. As always, I hope all of you are well out there, having a good time all the time, doing whatever you want to do. Thanks also to my patrons and elite explorers for your direct support. You all make bearing the cost for travel and production expenses easier on me, and I appreciate every penny. Please make sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and to join my Discord, home of DMod, to chat with me in real time. Also, please take a moment to follow Caspro, musician and composer of the music you're listening to right now. Links for everything are down below. Today, we're finally taking a trip to Philadelphia, to the Market East district, where we'll be touring a Dead Mall, then traveling through what used to be the Gallery at Market East, all the way through the Convention Center to the Reading Terminal Market. These locations collectively make up the entire Market East complex, and it's positively gargantuan. Make sure you all stay after the credits if you want to see me eat all the food that I ate in Philly. It was mostly incredible. But without further ado, and for your consideration, I'd like you all to come take a walk with me through the Fashion District, formerly known as the Gallery at Market East, along with its surroundings. But first, a word from our sponsors. Two very passionate beef advocates. Enjoy.
What you eating, Mr. Clubman?
Steak-'em sandwich.
What's steak-'em?
What's steak-'em? Back in Philadelphia, where I come from, everybody eats these kinds of sandwich steaks. Thin, tender slices of 100% beef. In Philly, we put them on a roll with cheese, onions, just about anything. You want to try it?
Thank you, I will.
Steak-'em all beef sandwich steaks. You should try it.
Where's the beef?
When you drive to Wendy's and order a single, you get more beef than the Whopper or the Big Mac. At Wendy's, you never have to ask, where's the beef?
The entire gallery at Market East was constructed between 1974 and 1983, culminating in two connected galleries. Gallery 1 was anchored by Gimbels and Strawbridge & Clothier, and Gallery 2 was anchored by JCPenney. Its dark brick hallways, bright atriums, and tall trees made it a beautiful mall. But the mall would ultimately begin to fail after a series of anchor closures and tenant departures. This caught the attention of my friend and esteemed filmmaker Dan Bell, who visited the mall just before its renovation in 2015. The footage you're about to see is from Dan Bell's Dead Mall series, and it shows what the gallery at Market East looked like just before it closed for renovations. By the time Dan made it to the gallery at Market East, the only established anchor was a newly opened New York-based Century 21 department store, which would never really stick. And nearly all of the inline tenants had vacated as ordered by the owner due to the 2014 announcement for a $325 million redevelopment plan, which had been approved just before Dan filmed the mall. In the state that Dan filmed this mall, it was at its absolute lowest point. But the footage is the best filmed example of what this mall looked like right before its redevelopment. The neon in the food court was ablaze for what could have been the last moments it was powered on, and special attention was given to the deeply liminal concourses and the dark bricks lining the walkways. Including Dan's footage in this episode is crucial to understand where this mall has been and where it might be going in the future. So thanks again, Dan. I owe you one. To show my respect for Dan's work and for what this place used to look like, I'm going to shut up and let this footage speak for itself for the next few minutes before we get to current footage and the historical narrative. Enjoy. The mall would remain closed for nearly 5 years after the redevelopment announcement was made public. Demolition began in 2015 and wouldn't be completed until 2019. Now I'd like to show you all what became of the mall and just how massive the entire Market East district really is. I'll be using this map and indicator throughout the episode to give you a sense of how large Market East really is, and to be clear on where we are as we progress through the Market East district. We'll begin the tour between North 7th and 8th Streets at the Marketplace East Mall. Back in 1891, Rachel Litt opened a woman's clothing store on the corner of Market and 8th Street in Philly, which was run by her brothers Samuel and Jacob Litt. The store would become one of the largest in the city, as the Litts purchased the entire block between 7th and 8th Streets by 1907, finally completing their 811,182 square foot Litts department store, which was actually comprised of 11 buildings in total. The chain would be sold off to Albert Greenfield's Bankers Securities Corporation in 1928, which is the same year Strawbridge and Clothier opened their massive flagship store right next door to the Litt building. Samuel Litt would die 1 year later in 1929, and his brother Jacob would die 31 years later in 1950. It was at this point that the Litt brothers chain really began to suffer amidst an explosion of downtown retail. The Bankers Securities Corporation chose to shutter the Litt Brothers chain entirely in 1977, seeing the closure and subsequent abandonment of the nearly 1 million square foot flagship store. This building would remain vacant for 7 years, developing severe decay from water damage and problems with the steel support beams. Plans were developed to demolish the building, as the facade was showing grotesque amounts of neglect, and the public was taking notice with the juxtaposing brand new gallery at Market East. In the 1970s and 80s, the Mellon Financial Corporation was one of the most profitable money management firms and one of the world's largest banks. By 1986, it was reported that Mellon was operating as the second largest financial computing system in the world, with a $150 million data center housing, quote, 6 number-crunching mainframe computers known as Big Iron, close quote. It was at this time that Mellon chose to bring their regional headquarters to the Market East District in Philadelphia. Philly-based Growth Properties and the Brickstone Company of Boston acquired the 11-building stretch that made up the Litt Brothers department store and set off to save the structure and completely restore it. The restoration work was intricate, to say the least. Given the age, construction type, and present deterioration, special consideration was required. The fragile wooden parts were often exposed to hot work, which was from welders wielding open flames around the tinder. Because of this, a 4-man crew of off-duty firefighters were employed to oversee operations that involved fire. To fully keep within the historical boundaries, leftover panels were also used from work that had recently been done on Independence Hall, right up the street. The restoration was completed 1 year later, in 1987, and had won a national award for historic preservation, which is remarkable because the block between 7th and 8th Streets at Market East is the only complete block of Victorian commercial architecture in Philadelphia, and losing that bit of history would have been pretty horrible. Internal construction would continue over the next couple of years, when work was finally completed in 1989. The project in total cost over $90 million from acquisition to final construction, and it was named the Mellon Independence Center. The upper floors were comprised of offices from Mellon, who signed a 25-year lease, and the basement and first floor were mixed-use retail. The space would generate sales between $100 and $150 per square foot through the 90s. But by 2001, Blackstone had chosen to put the property up for sale and was asking $70 million. The property wasn't attracting any buyers, and by 2006, Mellon had gone defunct when it merged with Bank of New York. That deal closed on July 1, 2007. The property would continue on into the 2010s, but Bank of New York Mellon was in the process of scaling back their Philly presence. By 2013, the former Litt Brothers building had been renamed Marketplace East, and by 2016, BNY Mellon had chosen to vacate the Litt's building entirely. Just a few months after the BNY Mellon departure, retailer Five Below announced that they'd be moving their headquarters into Marketplace East in September of 2016. Since 2016, the mall has lost a few retailers, but it's still anchored by the Five Below HQ, along with a Ross department store. As we make it down through the basement and through this final corridor, you'll begin to see what links the entirety of Market East. You can traverse the full expanse from 7th and Market all the way to Reading Terminal Market at Arch Street and 12th without going outside. The only exception to this right now is the Filbert Street Reading Terminal entrance, which is under renovation, so we'll have to go outside just for a little bit on 11th Street. But let's get through this last corridor of Marketplace East, and then we'll head through the train terminal. One of the main reasons I went back to Philly in 2022 was to film these train stations. They retain a lot of the visual aesthetic that the mall used to have, like that dark tile, the reflective ceilings. And I also thought it was important to show you that you can travel the entire length of Market East using these train hubs as the portals between each segment of the mall, of the Jefferson Station Convention Center, and all the way to Reading Terminal Market. But we're about to get into the actual fashion district in just a second. Right now, we're making our way towards 9th Street through the C Concourse in Fashion District. We'll be starting on the basement level, working our way up through the levels of the mall. Welcome to the Fashion District, formerly known as Gallery at Market East. The history for this mall goes way back to the 1960s and 70s when the city of Philadelphia was working to transform their downtown area with updated transit hubs at the center of the revitalization. As we saw new malls popping up around Philly, such as the Cherry Hill Mall in New Jersey in 1961 and King of Prussia in 1963, giant downtown retailers such as the Litt Brothers were failing through the 1970s, as we discussed in the first act of this episode. This was a time when people were choosing to go to suburban malls rather than visit downtown areas. So these giant retailers that were thriving in a post-World War II climate, they were all starting to fail. So revitalizing downtown areas was a big concern for city planners at the time. Many cities through the United States were seeing their downtown areas going downhill through the 70s, and as an effort to bring new life to these areas, urban renewal was becoming a popular means to drive growth through drastic transformation. Also, take note of how we traverse between the concourses here. We have to cross the street outside on this level of the mall. The upper levels of the mall are connected, as with the basement level, but on the street level, you have to walk across the street to get from one end to the other. But most recently, I covered a couple of malls as a result of urban redevelopment. In Niagara Falls at the Rainbow Center, which took place in the mid-1970s in ExLogs 105 and 106, along with Baltimore City's Harbor Place Mall, which was constructed between 1978 and 1980 in ExLog 69. Nice. That's also a Rouse Mall like Gallery at Market East. Make sure you go check those two episodes out. But for now, let's crack on with the historical narrative. Urban renewal in Philadelphia had begun in 1946 with the advent of its redevelopment authority, and 1 year later in 1947, it hosted the Better Philadelphia expedition at Gimbel's department store with exhibits showcasing models of a reinvented downtown area. So it was really on their minds, and they were pushing this idea on the public. By 1958, a planning commission introduced a proposal for a large complex of buildings which would provide multi-form transportation access, open-air pedestrian pathways, and a new climate-controlled mall with office space right above it. This plan was revised multiple times in the early 1960s, but it was approved by city planners in 1964. The project was to be financed by the Department of Housing and Urban Development, and a joint venture was formed between the Philadelphia Redevelopment Authority and the Rouse Company, with Gimbel's signing on as senior anchor. Gimbel's agreed to move right across the street from their original 1893 location to build a new flagship store for the Rouse project. And with everything in place, the construction kicked off finally in 1974. After 3 years of work, the grand opening and ribbon-cutting ceremony was held on August 11, 1977 for the Gallery at Market East. The mall spanned 447,400 square feet of retail space, and it was anchored by the existing Strawbridge and Clothier between North 8th and 9th Street, and a brand new Gimbel's department store between North 9th and 10th Street, both with facades facing Market Street. Among the dozens of inline retail tenants was a 22-stall Market Fair food court, which was in the basement right underneath of Gimbel's. The mall had 4 levels of retail, and was littered with 40-foot-tall ficus trees reaching for the abundant sunlight coming in through the massive glass ceiling. The dark brown brick walkways also extended through the basement level of the mall, which connected to the 8th Street SEPTA and PATCO transit hubs, which is what you saw in footage at the beginning of this episode. Welcome back, Marna. We all missed you so much, buddy. Anyway. Shoppers would enjoy the gallery at Market East into the 1980s a little too much. So much that the city approved a plan to expand the mall even further down Market Street. This expansion was designed by Philadelphia-based architectural firms Bauer, Lewis & Thawer, along with Cope Linder & Associates. The design of this next phase was very much in line with the 1977 gallery, and it would only take a couple of years to build. On October 12, 1983, the gallery at Market East Phase 2 was officially dedicated, with the new expansion called Gallery 2, residing between North 11th and 12th Streets with facades on Market and Filbert Streets. The basement concourse was extended 2 more blocks, and the food court was moved down to the end under Gallery 2, which was directly connected to the 11th Street SEPTA station, which is where we are in the video right now. This entrance to the commuter hub would also directly link shoppers to the Jefferson Station and Convention Center, and access directly to the Reading Terminal Market. Gallery 2 spanned over 370,000 square feet with 105 inline tenants, and it was anchored by a 3-level J.C. Penney. I'm sure you could all guess that the Phase 1 building was redubbed Gallery 1, and the completed project, still called Gallery at Market East, all said and done came in at a whopping $312 million. The fully configured Gallery at Market East comprised about 1,350,000 square feet with over 200 stores. There were 2 parking garages with access on Filbert Street connected to the mall by way of covered sky bridges. As it was configured, you could walk all the way from Marketplace East on 7th and Market to the Reading Terminal Market on 12th and Arch while fully covered, which is exactly what I tried doing in this trip. Man, I really dig the aesthetic inside this train terminal. This is what the mall used to look like. They didn't renovate this visually, but this is what it used to look like. It's so cool. Now, it is possible to bypass the Jefferson Station lobby, and to use this train concourse that we're in right now, you can get to Reading Terminal Market from here. But as you're seeing, a lot of things are closed. This was 2021, and I think they still had some COVID restrictions in place. So the path from this side of Jefferson Station, the actual train concourse, to where you can get into Reading Terminal Market, that was closed off to pedestrians, just like you'll see some doors were locked too. But normally you can use Jefferson Station and the train platform to get all the way through to Reading Terminal Market. Right now, the footage you're seeing is from 2021. and at the time, the entrance to the Jefferson Station lobby, those doors were locked, so I couldn't make this proposed voyage all the way through. And there was also a lot of closures that were probably due to COVID. The entire food court was mainly shut down. So I decided against doing that voyage through the Jefferson Station lobby. And as you'll see in a second here, I tried to go out onto the street to find another entrance, but everything was closed. Again, I think it was because of COVID when I was there at the time. But I would return 1 year later with new footage that you'll see just after this break.
So this is the end. That's where I got to the end near the food court and where I saw the terminal, the train terminal, or for the metro or whatever. And then I saw that section that you could get into, but the doors were locked. So we're gonna see if that's this over here without getting killed. Thanks. Yeah, this is where we wound up. Okay. So that's looking down towards the food court over there.
So as you'll see here in a second, the doors were locked, so I couldn't make that trip all the way through. But after we head back through the mall, we'll come back with footage from the following year. Anyway, amidst sharply declining sales through the 1980s, Brown and Williamson, who were the parent company for Gimbels, they decided to shutter the entire chain, which saw the closure of the gallery location on August 18, 1986. That same year, the former 1893 Gimbels flagship store turned office space also shuttered right across the street. However, the owners decided to demolish the entire structure immediately. That building was once the largest department store in the entire world, and it became an empty lot overnight. Eventually, Disney showed interest in the project, and they dug a massive pit, which they were planning to become the foundation for their $150 million Disney Quest project. Those plans were scrapped, and the pit ultimately got filled in and turned into a parking lot decades later. Jake Williams from Bright Sun Films actually produced a great canceled episode on Disney Quest, so make sure you go check that out for the full story. I'll also put a link down below. The Gimbels at the gallery was converted into a Stearns in 1986, marking the first change in the anchor lineup. Stearns would survive until March of 1992, at which point it would shutter, with one level becoming occupied by Strawbridge's discount chain called Clover, which opened on August 7, 1995. Clover would only survive another year past the gallery opening, with the chain going defunct on December 31, 1996. Kmart would take its place in what would be their first major downtown city location on November 20, 1997. As the gallery marched past Y2K, by 2001, the JCPenney chain had shuttered 48 stores alone that year, of which the gallery location was slated for closure too, and on January 26, 2002, the JCPenney at the gallery closed its doors. 1 year later, the Rouse Company sold 6 malls to Pennsylvania Real Estate Investment Trust, or PREIT, in April 2003 at a whopping $548 million, of which Gallery 1 was included. Shortly after the sale, a Burlington coat factory opened in JCPenney's place in Gallery 2 on August 21, 2003. PREIT then purchased Gallery 2 for $32 million from the Pennsylvania Public School Employees Retirement System. 3 years later, Strawbridge and Clothier vacated their once flagship Philly location on September 9, 2006, and around this time, the upper floors of the gallery were mostly vacant. Over the next few years, Foxwood Casino fought to open a casino in Philly, with the location moving often due to local complaints. Foxwoods finally proposed opening on 3 floors in the vacant Strawbridges, but by February of 2010, the entire casino project had been canceled. So here we are now in 2022, when I came back to Philly to see how the mall looks 1 year later. But when I came back, I noticed that there was a ton of construction happening around this area of the city. And from what the locals told me, they're really not into this, especially the proposed radical transformation of Market East. I'll talk more on that a little bit later. Whoa. Oh my God. This is why they decommission the malls. They're just so disgusting. Oh. The gallery at Market East was really hurting by 2006. The retail consolidations, the mergers and acquisitions, along with closures through the late 80s and 90s, set most malls on a path to failure if they chose not to adapt, and the gallery at Market East didn't adapt. The mall only saw a constant shifting of anchor tenants and found itself with mostly discount-based retailers and entirely empty corridors going into the 2010s. By April of 2013, Priet had acquired the Kmart space, and just 1 year later, the big Kmart was closed in April of 2014, most likely pushed out by Priet. That same year, the California-based Macerich company entered into a partnership with Priet after investing $106 million, giving them a 50% stake in the gallery at Market East. By the way, this storefront, the Robinson Building, that's one of Victor Gruen's earliest American storefronts. I digress. The partnership then announced a grand $325 million reimagining of the mall, subsidized by $149 million in tax incentives. Their new project was informally called Fashion Outlets of Philadelphia. So right now we're about to enter the Jefferson Station lobby on Market and 12th Street, which connects the mall's food court to the convention center and Reading Terminal Market on Filbert Street. But we'll be using Arch Street today to get to Reading Terminal Market because of construction. This building is the lobby for the Jefferson Station Terminal and the Convention Center. This place was built around the same time as Gallery 2 back in 1984, which is when the food court was moved to where it currently resides, connected to this building. And as you saw in some previous footage, there's a set of glass doors just past the mall food court that connects to this building, and I'm pretty sure the last time that I was here, they were closed because of COVID. Last time when I came here to the convention center, I came up the stairs and I was immediately kicked out. But I really didn't see any point in filming any of it, and there were no active expos or conventions happening when I filmed here in 2022, so I really had no business crossing into the convention center to show you. But again, there's really nothing much to see past what I showed you through that gate, so I didn't want to test my luck in getting kicked out again. But the reason I chose to come back and film this place is to illustrate how it acts as that pivotal transit hub that connects the entirety of Market East as one complete unit. So you can get to the bottom level through the food court, and if you cross over the street, you can get into the street level. But as you'll see, the Reading Terminal Market pathway was closed because they're doing construction on Filbert Street at this time, which is why we'll have to use the street. So this is, it used to be connected right to the former mall, and right underneath of us, right downstairs, it connected directly to the food court. But this also connects directly to Reading Terminal Market. So Market East is just a conglomerate of buildings. So you have Reading Terminal Market, you have the convention center, and then you have the galleries, the malls. And this is where it would normally connect to Reading Terminal Market on the Filbert Street entrance right here. So if you take this hallway down there, the doors open up to Filbert Street. So it's not connected like through an enclosed hallway. There's
there's a thing over top. It's another building. It's the convention center, and you would normally walk through the street, but these days it looks like this. So that's the convention center. That's the building that we were just in, and the hallway that we saw would bring you out here, but they're doing construction and you can't see in there. But this is where it would normally spill out into. But let's head inside the Reading Terminal Market, see if we can get some grub. So that's the mall, and it's connected to the Reading Terminal Market, which is right over here. So like I said, everything is connected. It's one big complex. Market East is just a bunch of intertwined buildings. So once we head around that corner, we'll be at Reading Terminal Market. Now, all right, so that's still part of the convention center, I believe. I'm not sure, I might be wrong about that. The voiceover guy will correct me if I'm wrong, but it connects, everything connects. So this is now Reading Terminal Market to our left. And there should be an entrance right here.
Okay, so I'm sitting in my studio right now, editing this episode that you've been watching now for like 40 minutes. And I find myself at a weird juncture. I ate so much food in Philadelphia when I was filming for this. An enormous amount of food. I filmed most of the food that I ate, and I scored most of the food that I ate. I bought a bunch of food in Reading Terminal Market, went to a restaurant here, got a cheesesteak there, went to some place and I got a boozy slushy. I was just all over the place, just eating everything. I was a madman. And I'm contemplating right now, should I include all of that stuff right now? Should I include it after the credits? Should I put it on my second channel? So here's what we're going to do. I'll show you a couple of glimpses of Reading Terminal Market, some B-roll. We'll make our way back through the mall. We'll have a drone sequence. Then the credits will roll. Mid-credits, I'll do the food sequence. Because I know you didn't come here to watch me eat like a gavon on all this food in Philly. I was a monster. So we'll do that mid-credits. Then I'll do something after the credits. I think that's fair, because I think it's going to be a pretty long sequence. So if you want to sit through it, it'll be mid-credits. So back to the episode. Welcome to the Reading Terminal Market, one of my favorite places on Earth. This place opened in 1893, operating under the arched ceiling on the Reading Railroad Company's elevated tracks. Open-air markets were the backbone of Philly since its founding in 1682, but in the late 19th century, I'm pretty sure people started getting grossed out by the rats running all over the food they were buying. So markets began to move indoors, where rats could still run around near the food, but the rats were protected from that pesky climate. Reading Terminal Market even survived through the Great Depression of the 1930s, proving just how important this place is to City Center and Market East. When the Center City commuter connection was completed in 1984, just after the Gallery 2 and its connected food court, traffic at the Reading Terminal Market tanked. It was at that point when the city decided to build their convention center, which would sit directly atop the market. When the convention center opened in 1993, it brought with it a renewed interest to Reading Terminal Market, which has gone on to thrive. At this point, we'll take our final walk through the mall from 12th Street, entering the food court from the Jefferson Station, finally ending on 7th and Market Streets. So as we head back into the mall from Jefferson Station into the food court, let's finish up the historical narrative. We left off with the Priet-Macerich partnership announcing their $325 million redevelopment project in 2014, which they called the Fashion Outlets of Philadelphia. That same year, New York-based retailer Century 21, not to be confused with the Realtor, Century 21 opened a new department store in just under 100,000 square feet of the old Strawbridge's building. 1 year later, in 2015, the massive redevelopment for the Gallery at Market East was approved, which is when Dan Bell visited the mall, just before demolition began that year in August. Construction was scheduled to last about 2 years. But in August of 2017, the owners announced that the outlet plans were scrapped, and that the project would instead feature a fully renovated mix of retail tenants akin to a traditional mall, just whiter and brighter. Priet's decision to delay the mall was mostly due to having to move Burlington Coat Factory so they could bring in a huge AMC Theaters multiplex. By September of 2017, Burlington Coat Factory had reopened in the basement level of Concourse C, where it's adjoined to Marketplace East. Construction went on for over 4 years, but on September 19, 2019, the grand opening ceremony was held and the ribbons were cut on the brand new Fashion District at Market East. In October, it was announced that Irish-based department store Primark would be opening a location at Fashion District. 1 month later, the AMC Theater opened on November 4, and on December 21, a Round 1 bowling and entertainment center had its grand opening.
That's the start of the food court, all the way down there.
When 2020 came and COVID hit, malls closed. The Fashion District would open after a few months to about 69% occupancy. Not nice. The entire Century 21 chain went bankrupt in late 2020 after they were denied $175 million in business interruption insurance during the pandemic, seeing the Market East location shutter. Priet also filed for bankruptcy in 2020 and gave up control for the Fashion District on January 1, 2021, when Macerich swooped in and made a $100 million payment on the $301 million loan, which was backed by the Fashion District Mall. On September 16, 2021, Irish-based Primark would open a 34,200 square foot store in the same exact building that the former JCPenney occupied in Gallery 2. Now, as we all know, JCPenney has branded themselves in the past as Pennies and is now informally known as Pennies in certain circles. But in Ireland, Primark, which has absolutely no relation in any way to JCPenney, is also known by locals as Pennies. Can you believe that JCPenney, or Pennies, closed in 2002, and nearly 20 years later, a completely unrelated and foreign store which goes by Pennies for no reason at all opened in the very same location? That blew my mind straight off. A few months after Pennies opened in the former Pennies spot, a giant heirloom market grocery store opened in the former Strawbridge's location on December 16, 2021. Recently, in June of 2022, a $1 million renovation project commenced on Reading Terminal Market at the Filbert Street entrance, which will see construction of all new sidewalk areas for eating, which was a result of the COVID pandemic, as the project was announced back in 2019, only to have begun in the past few weeks, which is why we couldn't get into the market from the Jefferson Station lobby. But that access will be restored soon, and if you stay through the end credits, you'll see what I was talking about, so stick around. About 1 month ago, when I filmed here, on July 21, 2022, the Philadelphia 76ers basketball team announced plans to construct a gigantic new arena called 76 Place at Market East. The plan is projected to cost in the ballpark of $1.3 billion and would see the demolition of a large portion of the fashion district. I had a chance to sit down with a few locals, and when we talked about this, they were not stoked about the idea of bringing that to this area. Constructing a huge new stadium at Market East would dramatically transform the entire area and would need to see infrastructure completely transformed to accommodate the huge influx of traffic during games. The 2 existing parking garages currently servicing the mall aren't nearly enough to provide parking for people going to the game, along with folks just visiting the area for any other reason, and the streets, the way they're configured, would cause gridlock when there was a game in town. I mean, the Wells Fargo Center is awesome, and it's way more than enough for the vast array of games and events that it currently hosts. And it really makes no sense to me why someone would drop over $1 billion to completely disrupt an area of Philly that's currently doing really well. If any of you out there are watching this and live nearby to Market East or the surrounding areas, let me know down in my comments or any of my social media what you think of these proposed plans. Personally, I'm really not into it, but let me know what y'all think. Links to all my things are down in the description. I'd like to thank all of you for watching my video, and I'd like to especially thank my patrons and elite explorers who support me directly. These episodes aren't easy or cheap to make, and everything you all donate goes right back into these productions. So once again, thank you all for the support. It means the world to me. Philadelphia has really grown on me over the years, and it rests firmly in my top 5 favorite cities in the world that I've visited. Reviewing all the food really helped bump that score, and if you care even in the slightest, stay after the credits in this video to watch a stupidly long segment of me eating and reviewing way too much food. I had such a fun time shooting this episode and putting it together, because it really expands on the idea of what a typical mall video would look like. And once again, thanks to Dan Bell for providing that footage from 2015 of the gallery at Market East. It really tied this entire piece together. But this felt like an exploration to me more than a trip to the mall. And I hope you all really got a sense of the sheer scale that makes up Market East. From Marketplace East, through the Fashion District and Jefferson Station, all the way through the Convention Center, and finally, Reading Terminal Market. This entire area is massive, and it's one of the biggest retail complexes I've ever seen or explored. I've got a ton more videos coming, and if you're still with me by this point in the episode, you may as well just subscribe and ring the bell. You don't want to miss what I have coming up. Please also make sure to follow me on all of my social media. I'm most active on Twitter and Instagram at Salvatore Amadeo, but if Facebook's your bag, you can find me at Quite Studios. However, if you do want to chat with me and my friends in real time and join the ridiculousness that is a DMOD Game Night voice chat, join my Discord server, home to DMOD. Just go to discord.gg/DMOD. I'll be back soon with ExLog 109, but until then, please stay safe out there, everybody. Take care of yourselves, stay after the credits, and have a fantastic day. Hey Legion, you still there? Check this out. I hope you're hungry.
Steamed chicken buns, spring rolls, green tea, and pineapple smoothie thing. All right, chicken steamed bun thing. 1.7. Spring roll. It's a 1.2. Oh, this is horrible. Lemon green tea. That's like a 0.6. Paper straw, minus points. That's a 0.2. 0.2. Oh, what I think will be the star of the show, though. This pineapple smoothie thing in a pineapple. One bite. Oh. One bite. Everybody knows the rule. That's phenomenal. That's tremendous. This is a 9.9 on the pineapple smoothie inside of a pineapple scale. This is a 9.9. Chinese Lantern Festival, Philly, 2022. One bite. It's good.
So this is Jim's Steaks on South Street, and I've eaten here many times, but this was the one time that I filmed it. Unfortunately, Jim's caught fire just after I filmed. And while I don't think the building is going to have to be torn down, it's probably going to take a very long time for them to reopen.
That looks so good. Oh my god, it looks so good.
But this was the best cheesesteak I've ever had in my life. The best in Philly. Jim's is definitely a 9.7. Best cheesesteak I've ever had. Best in Philly. I really hope they can get their shop open again. I don't know why I included this, but here it is. I got an orange daiquiri because I was thinking about all the time that I spent in New Orleans when my parents lived there, and I don't know. It was bad. It wasn't very good. They're never very good, and usually they're best enjoyed after you've been on Bourbon Street for a couple of hours. Yeah, it was a 1.9. Del Rossi's cheesesteaks and pizza. It looks really good. So let's see. Whiz Wit. I didn't ask for this, but this is some sort of like queso and some fries. They're Cajun fries, really good. All right. So if Tony Luke's in Baltimore is a 3.5, let's see, what's this? This is delicious. Okay. One bite. Everybody knows the rules. Tony Luke's is a 3.5. This 7.2. 7.2. All right, vodka sauce. Oh my fucking god. This vodka sauce, I would give it a 9.6.
This is the best vodka sauce I've ever had in my life. Garlic bread. 8.7. Best Italian food ever.
This is how you can get to the Reading Terminal Market right through Jefferson Station. So you go through the mall food court, enter into the train terminal, go up these stairs, and you're put right in the face of Reading Terminal Market. Filbert Street, which we're looking at right now, that's under construction, so you can't do this yet. But once they're done, this is how you can get there. From all the way down at Marketplace East, through the mall, out this door, right into Reading Terminal Market. There you go.
Great, thank you. Spinach pie.
How many did you get? 1, 2?
Spinach and feta pie. One bite. Everybody knows rules. Um, 5.8. It's a 5.8.
Thank you.
Hi, Steve. Thank you, dear.
This is a small coffee with cream. Does anybody have a small coffee with cream?
Iced tea is a 9.3. That's it. Thank you. Oh my God. Let me try the mustard. Oh. This is the best pretzel I've ever had in my life. It's got like the butteriness like Auntie Anne's, but it's not greasy. And not too much salt. It's so good. This pretzel's a 9.6. Miller's Twist, 9.6.
I'm gonna get two. I'm gonna get the milkshake and then I still gotta get my raspberry cup.
Mint chocolate chip. Mint chocolate chip. And right across the street is their competition. Pat's.
Yeah, who's next?
Mushroom cheesesteak whiz with.
We got a whiz mushroom wit, $11.
Jesus Christ. It looks like I ordered it right. There's meat, there's cheese, mushrooms. Alright, here we go. I know where I go from. I'll go from this end. Oh. It's a fierce rivalry. Next! Mushroom steak whiz with. Peppers, I don't know. All right, so my last business here in the hotel before the Philly trip is over. There's 3 items from the food tour that I never got to scoring on camera. So we're gonna do that right now. So the first up is that mac and cheese from, I think it was called Hunger Burger at the Reading Terminal Market. Now, I already did try all these foods, and I already determined the score in my head, but just to report them back. 1 bite. Everybody knows the rules. This mac and cheese. It's a 3.9. 3.9. Second up is from J&J's in the Saigon district in Philly. This is a panzerotto. People know them as panzerotti, that's the plural, but this is a panzerotto. And it's just basically, if you've ever had a zeppole, it's that dough that's fried, but inside is savory with cheese and sauce. So it's like a pizza that's been fried. And again, I already scored this, but it's delicious. Yeah. One bite. Travel far for this. This is the star of the show. This is a South Jersey thing. This food is known in South Jersey. And this place J&J's, their Panzerotto, 9.6. Oh my God, it's so good. You gotta travel for it. The last item is the final cheesesteak of the 2022 Philly tour. And this one is widely known as the best cheesesteak in Philly, but I had to see for myself. This is from John's Roast Pork. Thank you, dear. Tim. Okay. John's Roast Pork. This is prepared with prime rib. Oh no, ribeye. It's ribeye, shaved ribeye, mild provolone, American, sauteed mushrooms, and sauteed onions. Oh my God. The insides, the meat, the veggies, and the cheese, that's the star. That's what makes the sandwich so good. They're so fresh and clean tasting. One bite. This sandwich, John's Roast Pork, this is a 9-1. 9-1. Really good. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves. And have a fantastic day. Company.
So y'all, like, you rich.
Do something crazy. Might be on TV.
Something crazy?
Yeah. Go nuts.
God, I'm such an asshole. I'm not sorry. That's who I am. I love all you guys. That's what you all signed up for. Here it is. Guido running up the rocky stairs. Such an asshole. I'm the biggest jerk off in the world. Look at this. Are you kidding me with this? Why did I publish that? Whatever. I have no shame. I'll be back soon with ExLog 109. Thanks again, everybody, for watching. And if you stayed through all this, I really hope you subscribed. But if you didn't, that's cool too. I love you all. Take care.